vacation. I've never been this exhausted on a vacation before, but here I am. I've been doing a lot for my sister's graduation. It's been super hot and I'm not used to that anymore, and there's like a million things going on in the news that suck and I'm just tired, so try not to let that affect my review. This week Nicole and I read #1 New York Times bestseller Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. Before I get started, I'm just gonna let you know there are gonna be spoilers because it took me forever to get into this book, and that's gonna explain why. Gone Girl is a thriller, which is usually a go-to for me. I'm just gonna jump into it. Gone Girl is the story of Nick and Amy Dunn and their shitty marriage. On their 5th anniversary, Nick discovers that Amy has gone missing. He informs the authorities, but as we all know, the spouse is usually the #1 suspect. After he informs the authorities, we get every little thought in his head about how his wife resents him and how she doesn't love him anymore and he doesn't really love her anymore, and he doesn't seem that worried that she's gone. We also have Amy, who spends the first half of the book talking about her adoring husband, how much she loves him, how great he is, how perfect she is, but also how imperfect she is. You see, she's an only child and her parents wrote this book series called Amazing Amy, and she thinks that this Amazing Amy character always one-ups her, and she's always struggling to keep up and be like this perfect person, this perfect amazing Amy that they want her to be, and this has kind of screwed her up quite a bit. She mentions a lot that she never wants to be that stereotypical cranky housewife who has all this control over her husband and doesn't let him do this or that or let him enjoy himself. And I feel like that comes into play definitely as well in this story. It's been a long time since I despised all the main characters in a story, but this one did that. I hate Nick and Amy. I hate them both. They're both awful. They paint an awful portrayal of marriage. And they're both just these psychotic, pathological liars, both of them. And because there are narrators, they're extremely unreliable. And that is, I guess, one thing that makes the novel kind of interesting, is because they're both so unreliable, you just never know, or you're supposed to never really know what's going on, but it was quite obvious to me from the beginning, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But basically Nick and Amy change their stories like every 5 seconds, and so it's supposed to be kind of confusing and you're not supposed to really know like what's going on. And part of that did throw me for a loop. Like, I knew something was fishy about Nick, but towards the middle we found out that he's been having this affair like for a year. He's been lying to the police about it. That's the only thing that really, I knew something was up with him, but I didn't really know what it was. And when you are being questioned about a murder and you're the #1 suspect, and the police find out that you've been having an affair, and your spouse is missing, like, you're kind of screwed. Kind of reminds me of our political situation right now in the United States. It's like trying to choose between the lesser of two evils. Like, which character do I despise less? And I don't know if I can answer that for you. Like I said, halfway through we find out that Nick's been having an affair with this younger student of his, which is gross. A significantly younger student, and Amy has found out about it, and so she's decided that he needs to be punished. By the end of the book, we know that Amy has framed Nick for her murder, and then in this process, she's ruined his reputation, obviously, and then she's gone back to him and framed another man for rape before murdering him. And she kind of returns to the spotlight as this amazing Amy who, like, survived. She's a survivor, but she's a horrible person. And then poor widow Nikki is forced to accept his wife back into his life, and in the end nobody gets a happy ending. Let me be perfectly clear, I'm not salty about the ending. It's just that I honestly don't care, and I should. By the end of the book you should care about the ending. I'm an empathetic reader, and it's a great thing to be, but it's also kind of a weakness, especially for a book like this. I need to be able to connect to the main characters in some way in order to get sucked into the book. If I can't connect to the main characters, I don't care, and I've said that like a million times. Character development is like such a big deal with me. With empathetic readers, I think it's the biggest, the most important thing about a book, and this book didn't didn't do it for me. I thought that Amy in particular was being painted in a horrible light, and I thought that maybe you were supposed to empathize with Nick or sympathize with Nick, but I couldn't do that either because he was this huge raging douche the whole time. He was just horrible. I mean, I don't know, maybe Nick and his apathy is, I don't know, at least Amy was more interesting, I don't know. But now let me be clear on something else. I did not totally hate this book. When I got into the middle, it was like I knew exactly what was going to happen. It was pretty obviously set up, despite the fact that that's, you know, one of the selling points of this book is that you never know what's going to happen. I thought it was fairly obvious. I did want to know what would happen to the characters, what the consequences of their actions would be. That kept me reading. But anyway, the last half was better. It just wasn't enough to save it, in my opinion. So for plot, I gave it a 2 out of 5. That's because, like I said, it's predictable. The biggest response I've seen to this book is that it is gripping and unpredictable with all of its twists and turns, and it keeps you on the edge of your seat, but it didn't do that for me. Characters, 1 out of 5. I should really give them a 0. I don't know. Just didn't like anybody. I didn't like any of the supporting characters either. And that was the main problem with this book, was, for me, was the characters, like I said. Writing style, I give it a 3 out of 5. The writing wasn't terrible. The unreliability of the narrator was great. I thought that was helpful in generating interest. But Amy's quizzes every 5 pages were super annoying. For pacing, I gave it a 3 out of 5. The pacing was okay, but the beginning, I just docked it because the beginning. The first half was long and a struggle to get through. The cover, I gave it a 3 out of 5. Let's look at it again. I wouldn't pick this up. Like, unless I had heard, like I heard of it, that's why I picked it up. I wouldn't just pick this up for no reason. So our total is 2.4, rounding it down to 2. And that's about it. I finished it though, so gold star. As always, make sure to check out our Instagrams, because we do some blogging there. Check out our blogs, all that lovely stuff. And I will be announcing giveaway winners very soon, probably Friday. The question that I have for you guys this time is, did you read Gone Girl? I've talked to a lot of people who started reading it and couldn't get into it and didn't finish it, but it has really high ratings online and it's a New York Times bestseller. So did you enjoy it? And also, if you've read the book and seen the movie, is it worth it to see the movie? Because right now I'm not planning on it, but if it's really good, I'll check it out. So anyways, that's it. Thanks. See you later. Bye.